Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And this is your boy JTG, Jay the God.
He keeps changing that G, I'm telling you. He's going to have so many different copyrights, he's going to need to hire a second lawyer. Brand new Wrestling Insider Special Edition is coming up. Stand by.
I worked, my first job. Yeah, Shad actually helped me get that job too. And he did it in a Shad fashion. It was Hollywood Video. We had just finished leaving the grocery store. We walked, and I was explaining to because I would always vent to him, man, I need money, I need a job, and blah, blah, blah. And then we left the Kroger, and we went to, it was a Hollywood Video right there, and he's like, let's go to Hollywood Video. I didn't know what he was renting a video. He wanted to rent something. As soon as he came through the door, who's the manager? My boy needs a job, just like that. I'm like, wait, what? And she was like, I think she was intimidated by him.
How would you like Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff to be remembered from generations of fans from now?
Well, they say a fool speaks his mind. I guess that's me. And that's I've done it pretty much, you know. I mean, if somebody said something, or if you don't think something right, don't you think you should be able to say that it ain't right? So if that's being a fool or speaking up when you think something wrong or goes against what you believe or the way your style is or something, you should be able to do it. I never once not did anything anybody ever asked me to do, any promoter. Never. I questioned it, yes. Never have I ever not done what they wanted. Now, I might have done it my way, but it still got done. I did it my way, rather than the way they did it, to fit me more, because it's me, you know.
Right.
I'm the one that...
You weren't Paul Orndorff. I mean, you weren't a character.
I got to keep my character, just like Hogan kept his, and Savage and all them. Well, I had to fight a little bit more for mine, and I did.
Unbelievable. So, a wonderful story, a wonderful career, Paul. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us again so soon. Johnny, Jack. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the fans just haven't asked for it, they have demanded it.
This August, we're headed back to Tampa for Wrestle House 2.
WrestleMania weekend, we brought you Sinister Minister James Mitchell, TJP, Demolition Smash, Al Snow, Dutch Mantel Zeb Coulter, JTG of Cryme, Tyme, and WWE Hall of Famer Gerald Briscoe for in-depth interviews and live interactive cyber autograph signings.
And if you want our Wednesday Night Wrestling Insider Special Edition episodes to continue, we need your help to bring these superstars' careers and lives to life.
Bringing you free content 7 days each week is an expensive proposition between appearance fees, air travel, renting the house, the equipment, and everything that goes in to a week of shooting. We can't do it without you.
As we prepare to return to producing live in-ring events, help us bring you the superstars and legends of yesterday and tomorrow by visiting Indiegogo now and check out some of the great rewards.
Wrestling fans, it's going to be a wild week in Tampa the first week in August. Get ready for Wrestle House 2.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insider Special Edition, our Wednesday night delight to go along with the mix of other interesting characters we have in our series. Thursday night, we have maybe the main event of the week, the no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll look at the 80s and 90s through the eyes of Marty Jannetty, which has led to some extremely interesting content. I tell you this, a man that maybe could have used some of the products that you are presenting now to the world online, John Cena Sr., where he's had the issue with the moss going on upstairs. It's gonna...
Oh, really?
Well, you know, under the hot light sometimes the glue can get a little loose, you know what I mean? Get a little loose.
Get a little loose? Okay.
Sticky, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Sticky situations. We've got Oscar from Men on a Mission, the man that tore MSG down at WrestleMania 20 with that great rap for Men on a Mission. He started with us podcast style. We're not sure what's going to happen with Tuesday with Tony Atlas, but Wednesday night we have the rotating guests, and we're happy that you've rotated in as we look for more permanent co-hosts for the show.
Thanks for having me.
Had such a great vibe from the first one. I want more and more JTG.
We'll try to make it happen. You know what? Let's not take the tryout. We're going to make it happen.
We're going to make it happen.
Yeah, we're going to make it happen.
The trial is over after episode 1. But I thought the first show we did, I thought it had some great stories, some great memories. We had some laughs. It got a little deep at times. I think that's what this series should be all about. It's a roller coaster
ride. Just join us. Ride with us.
All right. We are going to talk now more about his career as he entered the world of professional wrestling. As you mentioned in the first episode, you were really even a younger guy than me when you started watching right around the same year, 1986.
2 years old.
When Margie was taking you to MSG to enjoy. Do you remember do you even remember the first show, or maybe who was on it, or?
I don't remember the first. I do remember.
You were really young.
Yeah, I remember my mom used to always get us nosebleed seats and try to walk down as close as we can to the ring until someone kicks us out or we get escorted back to our seats. I do remember being ringside and seeing George the Animal Steel up close and personal. The only reason why I know George the Animal Steel because he had a green tongue sticking out. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Mom, what is going on here? And then getting escorted back to our seats afterwards,
When I was a kid for a period of time, he was actually my favorite.
Really?
Because he was just so crazy. He didn't speak. He had a green tongue.
The turnbuckle gimmick, the turnbuckle spot.
He had a turnbuckle.
Yeah.
I mean, his wrestling really wasn't wrestling. It was just this.
And to find out he was a teacher.
Right.
A professor, I'm sorry. Blew my mind. Wow.
And isn't it funny, back in the days of the territories when you could get away with things like that? I mean, you'd really have to be a diehard fan to go out and buy magazines and say, wait a minute, is that Mr. Myers?
Yeah, that's
Is he
him.
George the Animal Steel? Because that television didn't air in the part of the country that he lived in. So he'd do weekend shots and he'd wrestle full-time in the summer. And he'd be a high school football coach on the Friday nights before he'd fly out for the wrestling. He had a...
Wow.
Did you ever meet him?
No, I have not met him. He's still alive?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But we had a lot of fun with him. He knew some interesting magic tricks and things like that. And
wow.
He did something. And I should have asked Mark Henry when we had him in, but he told me the story about how he basically, with some little trick he knew, you're talking about a guy in his 60s now, took down Mark Henry.
It took down Mark Henry.
Took down Mark Henry. And we're talking like a 98 Mark Henry.
Wow.
When he went back as part of the Oddities. I don't know if you remember that. When George Steele went back for a short time with
short-lived.
Giant Silver in them. And so I forget exactly what it was, but now I want to text Mark and ask him what it was that George Steele in his 60s after recovering from cancer did to him to take him down. It was a really odd physical maneuvering. I don't know. But fans, I'll get the story for you.
I want to see.
Because it was a cool story.
Hear about this.
George told me the story.
Okay.
Because obviously you know Mark. He's like a refrigerator with legs, especially back in 98.
Yes.
Yeah. So, big fan growing up.
Yeah.
Who were some of your favorites?
So I went through my phases. Of course, in the 80s, I was a big Hulkamaniac. And then the 90s came around. I was a big Bret Hart fan. Still am. Bret Hart fan. And then when Bret Hart, left in, was it 98? 97. Then I started transitioning to a rock fan. Big rock fan, yeah.
You were smelling what he was cooking?
I definitely smelled what he was cooking, doing the eyebrow and everything. Posters on the wall. I actually have some old, I'll send it to you. I have some old footage, my first time in a wrestling ring training.
I'd love that because we could, roll it over.
Yeah, I have my rock shirt on.
Do you?
Yeah, I have my rock shirt. Training in my rock shirt, yeah. And then after the rock phase, then it became, I was now looking into being a wrestler. So I had to look at who was like my built and style so I could, emulate. And it was Jeff Hardy, RVD, I could say Chris Benoit, right? Yeah, I can say, big Chris Benoit. I started studying Chris Benoit's tape very hard. And then after high school, I had to make a decision. Mom was like, are you going to the Army, Navy? Like that was customary in my family. Everybody would go to the Army
military
or Navy.
Family?
Yeah, or go to college. And I was like, I'm done with school. I took my last test. I'm done with tests. I want to get out of school. I don't want to do no more exams. And then I was like, I wanted to be a wrestler. I didn't know how to tell you, but since you're putting all this pressure on me, I want to be a wrestler.
Well, you shocked your mother with that. She didn't know.
She kind of knew, but for me to say it verbally, like I know he's like a big wrestling fan. Had all the toys, magazines, ordered all the pay-per-views, go to the shows. It was like, he probably wants to be a wrestler, but he's not, And then I was like, I'm gonna be a wrestler, Mom. And it kind of was like, wow. Well, and she supported me because she's a wrestling fan. And she's like, how long are you gonna do this for? Are you sure you don't want to go get like 2 years of community college before have a backup plan? I'm like, there ain't no backup plan. I'm going to be a professional wrestler. And she was like, all right.
At what point did you know?
At what point?
That you wanted to do it?
Always knew I wanted to do it. It just coming out of the closet, I guess, to say that I wanted to be a...
You came out of the closet in a different way. So
yeah, exactly.
Right,
I kicked the door open. I was like, I'm a wrestler.
Now, before Al said you were a walk? I told you Al Snow was with us. This is the day we're taping this, just a couple of days before. You were kind of a walk-on at OVW. Did you get any training out in the East before you went to OVW, or did you do research to go there?
No, so this is what happened first. Since I was a big Jeff Hardy fan and Hardy Boys fan, and I knew I had family in North Carolina, I went to North Carolina first because I didn't hear anything about OVW yet, and I couldn't find any schools on the East in New York. So
Johnny Rods.
I didn't. Well, I'm glad I took the path that I did.
All right.
I went to Charlotte first, and I was there for about 6 months, and I trained. I can't remember my trainer's name, but I gave him
hell of an impression.
Gave my money up front. Gave my money up front. Took me to the ring maybe like 3 or 4 times, and then after that he kind of just dropped me off, and then came back and left me there, and then came back and picked me up. I'm like, I need a trainer. I need to learn how to wrestle. He showed me like the basics, like how to fall, how to lock up, and how to hit the ropes, and how to take a backdrop, hip toss, and that was pretty much it.
Where in the Carolinas?
This was in. Well, I lived in Charlotte, and then I think the school was like about 40 minutes away.
Okay. Yeah,
but it wasn't. I didn't train in Charlotte, but I lived in Charlotte, and I traveled 40 minutes to go train, and it just wasn't working out. And then at an independent show, because some of the wrestlers was like, well, you need to come to the independent shows. You need to like start paying your dues, put the ring up, learn how to put the ring up, get your face seen. Out of sight is out of mind. So I'm like, all right, you know what, you're right. And then I started going to the independent shows, and then I met somebody from Tough Enough. And the first Tough Enough, he got eliminated. He's like, yeah, I'm not done yet. I'm going to go down to OVW. I'm like, what's OVW? He's like, oh, that's where everybody's getting signed at. He's like, yeah, that's where Brock Lesnar came from, John Cena, Shelton. What was the manager for Billy Gunn and what's his name? The manager.
Jackie Gator.
No. The male diva. Rico. Yes, he was the champion at OVW. He's like, yeah, Rico came from there. I'm like, I'm gonna go do some research. Did some research. I spoke to my mom, like, Mom, the training here, the guy, you can't get your money back, and I gotta keep moving forward. She's like, all right, come home for a little bit, and then we'll re-strategize. I went home for a little bit, and instead of moving to Kentucky, I decided to take the bus from New York, take the Greyhound bus from New York to Kentucky every weekend.
Really?
Because I did not want to move to Kentucky.
Wow.
It was like, I did not want to move to Louisville. It was just a big culture shock. I had no family there. I wanted to go somewhere where I had family. I had no family there.
Comfort zone
So I needed to go. I just needed to go every week, once a weekend. I believe it was an 18-hour drive for 2 hours of training, but it was worth it.
Obviously, look at how it paid off. But I mean, were you working a job, or was you just
Yes, I was working at the movie theater, the worst place to work at if you want to.
Which movie theater?
I was working at AMC in Times Square.
Get out of here!
Yeah,
Really? I've been there before.
Huh?
Yeah.
I was working there, and I had to explain to him, like, look, I took the word. I'm going to be a professional wrestler. I need to train on the weekends, and they were like, you know what?
That's our busiest time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's when the movies
like,
open.
You think you're crazy? Like, everybody wants the weekend off. Why should we? Like, I'm gonna be a professional wrestler. I have to. Everything's convenient. You're right next to the Greyhound Grand Central Street.
Port Authority. Right?
Port Authority.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Port Authority. It just works out great. I'll make it up during the week. I just needed, and they saw the passion in my eye, and my manager was like, yeah, go, don't tell nobody, but yeah, you go ahead. I'm like, yes.
Wow, they worked with you.
Yeah, they worked with me. I will leave there, have my stuff with me, and I'll take the bus and go straight to Louisville and come back. The weekend warrior.
Did you live close by to Times Square? Or?
I mean, living in New York, a train ride is like, like 15 minutes. And then I did that for so long because the buses started breaking down, especially during the winter.
Yeah.
I was showing up late, like all those hours of traveling just only to get like a half an hour of training. Yeah. At my first train at OVW was Nick Densmore. The world knows him.
Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene. The world knows him as Eugene. He's like, look, you have a lot of potential, but you're gonna have to move it. You can't just keep taking the bus every week.
They must have thought you were literally nuts.
Yeah, they probably thought I was crazy, like some super fan. Like this is a phase he's going through. He's just trying to sing out. I was like, no, I really wanted to do this. So I eventually moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and I lived in a motel for a little bit.
Did you get with that weekly rate gimmick that a lot of the guys
Yeah, the Suburban Lodge, yep. and that's how I got how Shad got into my life. Because I was explaining my story to, I believe Ivory. I believe it was Ivory. Yes, and she was like, "You're staying in a motel?" Like, yeah. And then I think she was talking to Shad, and then she told him the story. And I think he wanted to leave his lease and go into another situation. So Shad gave me my first apartment. I took over his took over his lease. And
now, were you working a part-time job out there too to pay for that?
Not yet.
So
my mom was helping me out.
Oh, okay.
I had saved money because I was working at AMC. I was just saving my money. And then I saved some money, then my mom helped me out, then I eventually got the apartment, everything started working out. Then I got a job after that. Yeah, I started getting little jobs here and there.
So what were you doing out in Louisville?
I had so many different jobs. I started off at a temp agency. I was washing dishes. I worked, my first job, Shad actually helped me get that job too. And he did it in a Shad fashion. It was Hollywood Video. We had just finished leaving the grocery store. We walked, and I was like explaining to because I would always vent to him like, man, I need money, I need a job, and blah blah blah. And then we left the Kroger, and we went to there's a Hollywood Video right there, and he's like, let's go to Hollywood Video. I didn't know what he was renting a video. He wanted to rent something. So he came through the door. Who's the manager? My boy needs a job, just like that. I'm like, wait, what? And she was like, I think she was intimidated by him, and she was like, what's your work history? I was like, I used to work at the movie theater. I guess this.
Well, it's kind of a tie-in.
Yeah. And she was like, okay, you can fill out an application, come back tomorrow. You're like, thanks, I appreciate that. And we get discounts on the rentals. I'm like, you can't ask for that. I didn't even get the job yet. But I eventually got the. I got the job. Yes.
Now, what was the discount on a DVD?
No, actually, it wasn't no discount. Actually, it was free. If you worked there, you could just
oh, really?
You could rent. Yeah,
that's pretty good. If you like the movies, I guess. Yeah.
Hooked Shad up with some DVDs and some tapes.
So you were in a better situation than the Suburban Lodge.
Yes, I had my own apartment.
There were probably more rats at the Suburban Lodge than there were the ring rats.
Oh my gosh, rats, roaches, the police. Me and Mark Henry was actually talking about that the other day because he was like when he had to stay there when he was in OVW. The police was always there. There was like some people who was doing cooking meth like 4 doors down. He was like, man, he had to get up out of there.
There's been some interesting stories that have come from that place on this show over the years.
Oh my gosh. But you had to pay your dues, and I paid mine at the Suburban Lodge. But anyway, Hollywood Video was my first job there. Then it was washing dishes. And then I had some temp agency. And then my last job in Louisville, Kentucky, before I got signed, was working at Go's Gym in the daycare.
In the daycare?
In the daycare.
Really?
Yes, because that was the only position I needed because a gym membership was expensive, and I had to think creative. I had to be smart, and that was an opening. They're like, "Are you good with kids?" I'm amazing with kids. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take the daycare spot," and then I got paid and I got a free membership, so it worked out great.
And a good preparation for
and good
to come
exactly
10, 15 years later or so, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. So what was the training schedule like? Was it 7 days a week? I know they had guys that were under WWE contract that trained. There were people that had no WWE affiliation that trained there. What was it like for you as a
I literally started from the bottom until I got my contract. So I started at the amateur class. And that was once a week. Mm-hmm. And then,
once a week?
Yeah.
Really?
It was every Saturday. And then after that, I moved to the intermediate class. And that's where I got the bulk of my training with Rip Rogers.
Okay.
I think everybody should know who Rip Rogers is.
Yes. Very wise man.
Very wise man. He taught me the psychology of wrestling, how to tell a story in the ring, not just moves. He didn't give a crap about moves. I don't care if you could do a 360 in the air and then turn sideways. I don't care. You're going to learn how to tell a story. You're going to know where to do that move, why you're doing that move, and when to do it. It was like, it was all about psychology with him, and I thank him so much, Rip Rogers. Thank you. And after Rip Rogers...
Now, how many days a week would it be at that point? Still
I think no. I think it was like two, and then he had like an extra class you had to pay for, and yeah. And then I definitely did that. It was like I think it was like early Saturday morning. I think it was 2 training classes, during the week, 2 or 3. I can't remember the exact schedule, and then there was one on the weekend, and I was gonna get as much training as I can. Then after that, I was stuck there for a little bit, and I knew I had a lot more to offer. And then I wanted to go to. Then there was the advanced class, the contract class. You wanted to train with them because you wanted to be seen. You probably won't. They won't probably make you a star of it or like in a few overnight, but you get to job out for the talent for the contract class. So I did that, and then after that Chad was doing a program with CM Punk, a championship program, and then after that ran his course. They're like, from what I was told, they were like, okay, what are we gonna do with Shad now? Like, we have JTG here. And I think it was Paul Heyman's idea and Al Snow and Danny Davis. It was their idea to put me with Shad, and I made my local TV debut, and then the week later, that's when Shad and I won our first tag team titles.
Now, you weren't a WWE guy at this point.
No, not at all. I didn't even have a contract yet.
And Al said, didn't you have a partner before Shad?
Yes.
And who was that?
The world knows him as Abraham Washington.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the one who actually came up with the Cryme Time look, because we used to have amateur shows, and he really wanted to blow the roof off. And he was like, "Yo, I got this idea." I was wearing wrestling tights. I had my wrestling boots. I was watching Chris Benoit videos. I was like, "I'm a technical wrestler. I'm gonna."
You wanted to be a serious technical guy.
Yes.
Okay.
So he gave me the call and was like, "Man, forget all that, man. I ain't gonna make you no money. Wrestlers don't make money. We are entertainers." I'm like, "Okay, what's this idea you have?" He's like, "You're going to represent the East Coast, and I'm going to represent the Dirty South. My name's going to be Dirty. You can keep your name JTG. We're going to have grills. We're going to have chains. We're going to have bulletproof vests because 50 Cent is popping right now. We're going to wrestle in straight Timberland boots, fitted hats, and we're just going to be raw with it." I'm like, this sounds so stereotypical. He was like, "But it's going to make us money. This will get us signed. This will get us noticed." And I'm like, "We could try it. We could try it for the amateur show." That was just the look. We did the look at the amateur show, but we're both charismatic. Abraham Washington, if you remember, he had his show on ECW with Tony Atlas. and Abraham Dirty at the time, he was great on the mic. He's still great on the mic. He's actually doing stand-up right now, too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's doing stand-up right now in Florida.
I think he follows us on Twitter as a matter.
He does?
of fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
he might even come across this.
Huh?
He might even come across this.
Yeah, he might come across, yeah. So he was good on the mic. I was good in the ring. We had great charisma. We had a great look, and we blew their house off. And we were a tag team. We were known as the Gang Stars.
I heard that. Yeah. Now I wonder what New Jack would have thought of that.
Yeah. No, they were the Gangsters, and then we were the Gang Stars.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Even though with my Boston accent, they all sound the same.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But we did that for a little bit, and then he was having some personal issues outside of wrestling that he couldn't come to practice anymore, come to any more of the shows. So I was kind of like left solo with the gimmick. And it looked great. And then they decided to put me with Shad. That's when he put me with Shad.
Were you known as Neighbor
Hoodie? Yes. Paul Heyman gave me that name. He was like, "We need a name." Like, I have one, JTG, but I just kept my
JTG you came up with?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was using JTG. And then he's like, "We're gonna call you the Neighbor Hoodie. How do you feel about it?" I'm like, "I love it. Best thing I ever heard." I'm like,
and I'm gonna guess in reality, not so much.
Yeah. So as soon as I was able to get JTG back, I got it back immediately. And they put us, Shad and I, we won. At that time, I was going through so much. I was like, my partner quit on me. I was thinking about quitting because I've just been here for like 2-3 years, and it's kind of like.
Really? You were there that long?
Yeah, like 2 years.
Really?
I got there when I was 18. I didn't get signed till I was 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And the world was just coming. It was just like so much. Like, what's going on? My mom's calling me like, what's going on with this wrestling thing? And I'm like,
she was kind of losing patience.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Now, what did your dad think about the whole thing?
He lost. He wasn't a big wrestler. He stopped wrestling, watching wrestling in the 80s. So he definitely wasn't. He wanted me to go to school. So
he wasn't feeling it as much as your mother was.
Yeah. But that perfect timing. Everything happened perfectly, and everything happened so fast. Well, I'm making my TV debut, and then next thing you know, I'm winning the titles with Shad, and then I think 2 or 3 weeks later, that's when I got the call in June of 2006.
All right, and you speak about perfect timing. I think that's time for a timeout, folks. If you got one of these gimmicks going right here, I think you're going to want to stay tuned. Check this out now. We'll be right back.
Cheer. Why, hello. I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product. So support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insider Special Edition. This is a man that is almost like a walking home shopping network. Literally, you have a little bit of everything going on outside of the squared circle right now. And again, I think that's done you so well, especially where so many of your peers have been literally crushed by the lack of financial opportunity to be made during coronavirus.
Yeah, you had to create your own. You had to create your own opportunities, man, and that's what I did. And I saw a void in the market, and I filled it.
And you keep filling it. You keep filling it. All right, and never mind that, with the kids that keep popping out. So there's a lot of filling going on in the world.
Yeah, there
of
we go.
Now, we mentioned Al Snow, a man that is near and dear to my heart. He had many compliments for you when he was here the other night. Your memories, thoughts on Al Snow himself?
Oh, I love Al. Al sharpened me up. Like I was saying before, Rip Rogers polished me up in the ring, psychology-wise. Mm-hmm. Al Snow did the same thing, but he also polished me as to knowing the business. You know, he'll break it down like how WWE works up there. Like when you get up there, you know, use that as every time you're on TV, it's an opportunity for you to be seen. It's a commercial. Mm-hmm. And I never really thought about it like that. It's like he really broke it down, and he's like, you're a business. Your brand that's your business. And he taught so much about the business aspect that I never thought about it before. And he taught me how to tell a story with telling a promo. And if it wasn't for Al Snow, I don't think I would have ever got signed, because he's the one who said, all right, we won the titles. We wrestled a bunch of tag team matches. And he was like, all right, look, you don't have to wrestle every week. You guys could do some vignettes, do some stuff outside of the ring to get yourself over. You don't always have to get yourself over in the ring. So me and Shad was like, okay, we're going to have some fun with this. And Shad and I got a cameraman. We came up with some skits, and we shot it on our own. And those skits got us signed. Really? Because we popped the writers at WWE, because they watched it, because it was on once it's on OVW TV, local TV, they have to watch it up there to see, because they're scouting to see what's yeah. So it was so good and so funny that they showed Vince, and Vince saw the skits and said, I want them on Raw. I want them on my program. And he was like, well, the big guy's signed, the little one's not signed. He was like, well, sign him. So I literally got signed without Vince watching me wrestle. Like, he never saw me wrestle. He just saw the vignettes. He didn't know I could wrestle, yeah. He just saw that me and Shad had on-screen chemistry. We looked good together, and he wanted us on Raw. And that's what I was told when I got. So how'd you get the news? You go to class one day? No, I was actually going to work at Gold's Gym in the daycare. I opened up. I unlocked the nursery. I sit down, and I think my coworker comes in. I get a call from Connecticut. And I've gotten a call from Connecticut before. Somebody was messing with me, because at the time John Laurinaitis was the head of talent relations, right? And his voice is so raspy. Yeah, raspy, and anybody could impersonate it. Yeah, very intense. Anybody could do it. So I got called before. It was actually Kenny from the Spirit Squad. He got me good. Really? Yeah. He's like, yeah, we want to check you out. You're doing good. And then he got me, and then he started laughing. And I was like, oh, he gave himself away. But so this time I got the call, and it was John Laurinaitis. He was like, you're doing some great work out there in OVW, and everybody's, raving about you and saying that you're professional and blah, blah, you're young. The work that you're doing with Shad, how do you feel about signing with the WWE? I'm like, yeah. Sure, you had to give it a lot of thought. Let me get back to you. Let me think about it. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely interested. And at the same time, I'm still thinking it's a rib, so I'm trying to not get too. And then he's like, all right, I'm gonna put you on hold. I'm gonna let you, I have to put you on hold to my assistant. And then when he put me on hold, and during the hold, WWE theme music started playing, I'm like, oh, this is real. This is the headquarters. Like, this is, if not, this is a very elaborate joke, and I have to give it up to you guys. But no, this is real. And then I spoke to the assistant. She started asking for my passport, ID, birth, all this information. I'm like, oh, this is the real deal. When I got off the phone, I had to let that sink in. Like, wow, I just signed a contract with WWE. I called my mom immediately. She started screaming, oh my God, get it, blah, blah. And he's like, where are you right now? I was like, I'm at work. You're like, you're still there? I'm like, I have to finish my shift. I just can't, I wanted to be like, hey kids, peace out. I'm out. I got my contract.
An honorable man.
Yes, I gave him my 2-week notice. I stayed for another 2 weeks. And then after that, it was.
You even did the 2 weeks after that?
Yeah, I did 2 weeks.
Good
yeah.
guy. Good guy.
Put my 2 weeks in, and after that was off to the races. Yeah.
I wonder how many of those kids went on to see you on TV as JTG.
Wow, I don't think they recognized me, man.
You had a different look back then?
Well,
you weren't.
No, I'm talking about now. I'm talking about from then and now. Yeah. But yeah. No, I still had the same look. Yeah. When I got signed.
How long of a contract was it for? Was it 5 years, 3 years?
I think it was a 5-year contract.
5-year deal?
Yeah, it was the first contract. Yeah, it was so many contracts after that because we kept getting new ones. Yeah. And then, like I was saying, everything happened so fast. So I got signed in June of 06. Was on the road maybe like a month or two later after that, just so we could get a feel for it. They wanted us to do the live events. And then in September of 2006, not September, October, we made our TV debut against the Spirit Squad in the Staples Center.
They did a great job with those vignettes building you up. As someone that was an 80s kid like me that enjoyed wrestling back then, that was how everybody got over. You'd see 4 or 6 weeks worth of those 30, 45 seconds vignettes. So when you came out, you're automatically a star. Now you see so often they bring out these guys cold.
Yeah.
And, well,
they got NXT now.
Fans, it's cold. Yeah. But NXT, now that almost replaces those 30, 45 second personality vignettes. But I thought they did a great.
Yeah, the J job on the skits. Those exact skits that you saw on Raw, those are the skits that we did in OVW on our own.
The ones that you did, or they just kind of recreated?
They recreated it. Yeah, they brought, because we kind of used like regular cameras, and they brought their professional cameras. Right. Yeah, we just did the same thing over and over again, same plot and everything.
So bring us back to that day, October 15th, 06, the Staples Center, Los Angeles, California, your current home now.
Yes.
A man that was babysitting children at a Gold's Gym to get a free membership, hustling free videos in Hollywood Video, and now you're in front of 16,000 fans in Los Angeles.
That was my first time, too, actually in Los Angeles, too.
Describe the day to us. Before you even get to the arena, what is going through your mind?
What's going through my mind? Shad missed his flight. That's what's going through my mind.
Really?
Where
was he coming from? Louisville?
Same place.
Oh, how did he miss the flight?
Don't ask. I don't know. He missed his flight, but he was able to get there on time. That was on my mind first. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You were nervous.
Huh?
You were nervous.
I was nervous. Other than that, I was great until my nerves got shook when he missed his flight. I'm like, on our debut day? Like, what? And then, and once he got in time, I was able to like reestablish myself. And then I found out we was working the Spirit Squad. I'm like, oh, we know these guys from OVW. We worked them before. We have, because first when you're making your debut and you have to wrestle someone like Kurt Angle, like, oh my gosh, this is my debut match, and I have to wrestle this top guy. Well, they were the top. They were Spirit Squad. They were the tag team champions, but still we had chemistry, had history with them. They weren't gonna big dog us. We all had a great relationship, and we had a great match with them. I was on cloud 9. Like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm at the Staples Center. Just 1 hour match with the Spirit Squad. We had the crowd loved us. And then right after our match with the Spirit Squad, we shot a segment with Booker T, Sharmell, and help me out, Jonathan Coachman. That went great, and we did it live. Hit a home run. I'm like, this is like, I'm pinching, like, is this real? Is this real? Is this real? And then I got brought back down to reality. You have to read the book for this one. I'm not going to say, give you all the details, but I definitely put it in my book. So I'm there just.
Where you can find on Amazon.com.
There you
the
go.
Physical, and audio versions. Yes. All 3 are available. And the title again?
Damn right I write this book.
And can they search JTG and look
Yep.
them up? Oh,
Yeah.
so nice and easy.
There you go.
They don't even need the title.
So while I'm there, just enjoying it, reading all these texts from my friends and family. Oh my gosh, I can't believe just in myself, like, oh yeah, I know I'm the man, yeah, whatever. And a Hall of Famer comes up to me and starts cutting this promo on me, like, while I was doing the live events, he accused me of doing one of his taunts. You have to read the book. Well, I'm gonna get
Chia?
Huh?
Chia?
No.
A different taunt.
A different taunt, yeah, with my hands. It was a hand taunt. Well, I did not do at all. But I guess I don't know if he was testing me or to see how I was gonna react or respond. I didn't react. I didn't even respond. I was just more like in like shock. Anyway, he cuts a promo on me in front of some of our peers in front of the TV monitor where you watch Raw at. Mm-hmm. And he accused me. He started sticking his finger in my face and was like, I told you not to do it. And you kept doing it. You guys think you just come up from OVW and do whatever you want. I'm telling you, if you do it again, I'm going to make sure you get fired and blah, blah, blah. You just can't do whatever you want and blah. I'm like, and then he storms off. Wow. And I'm just like, what just happened? Like my head was
you
like
went
this.
from there and then you went to there pretty quick, yeah.
I can't remember who walked over to me. I believe it was a diva. And she was like, don't relax, just let some time cool down and then go over and apologize. I was like, did I do it? He was like, don't worry about it. Just even if you are correct, you're not correct. Just go over there and apologize. I'm like, all right. Later on the show, I apologized. He accepted my apology, and then I was on my P's and Q's from there. I didn't even do anything with my hands from after that. But if you want to know the details, get the book.
Get the book, baby.
Get the book, yeah.
Tell you, and again, we're not talking about one of those $24.99 specials at Borders or something like that. It's a very affordable book, and while I haven't received my copy of it yet, but I've been told it is a great.
I got some coupon codes for you.
I've told you it's a great, fantastic read from everyone that I know that has read it. Uh-huh. They said you'd love it, but with us, we usually get especially with WWE autobiographies and whatnot. Uh-huh. They send us commercials to run. They send us a case of books to put on the set and things like that. Okay. So if you ever wanted us to
I got a whole
fine set with your book, I would be happy to.
I have a whole box to send you. I got to send you some bed care. I got to send you some books. I got to send you some T-Moss. Well, I got to send you all that little packet.
Winnie the Pooh with the TV studio isn't going to know what to think, but that's all right. We're going to have a lot of fun with it again. I get honestly such a great vibe off of these interviews that we've done. We've had a lot of fun, and we're just literally scratching the surface. We talked about your debut in Los Angeles. You go back to the hotel room that night. I don't know, did you stay alone or did you split a room? Do you remember even?
Did me and Shad split a room? I think. Probably. I think we. Most likely probably did split a room.
Well, either way, when the lights went off, and unless maybe you had some company, and you're in your quiet thoughts. What was going through your head after that first day? Do you remember anything?
I do remember us going out to eat after that. We went to Baby Blues Barbecue. Giving them a little cheap plug right now. It was amazing barbecue, by the way. But after that, I don't really remember too much. I remember going out to eat with Shad and a buddy of ours, and I was still, even though that situation happened with the Hall of Famer, still I'm in the WWE, and I just performed in front of thousands of people and millions on TV. And at the time, MySpace was really popping. Like MySpace was the thing at the time, and thousands of messages. And you know what? I think I read through those messages that night. I think that night I did go through my MySpace messages. Yeah. You had chicks, you had dudes, fans, blah, blah, blah. People who wanted to work with me. I was like, oh, y'all didn't know me before, but now I'm on Raw.
Everybody wants to be your buddy.
He wants to be your friend, exactly.
And go from LA, one of the biggest markets in the country. Next week, you're in Chicago.
Oh,
I mean, so it was nonstop right off the bat. Any memories of, you probably can't break down each Raw week by week, but memories of Chi-Town itself, where it was such a hot city for professional wrestling.
What segment did we do? Did they show the segment?
I think it was another Spirit Squad. Excuse me, another Spirit Squad match just with different members.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. Yeah, so I can't even tell you.
But Chi-Town itself, the city.
Oh, I love that city. One of my good buddies, Armando Estrada. I came up with him.
Umaga's former man.
Okay. He's from Chicago. and we always go back and forth about Brooklyn pizza and Chicago pizza. So I remember I think he did take us to get some pizza. I can't remember the name. At this very like famous pizza spot. If you say the name, I remember it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Very thick pizza, and I'm like, you call this? It's not even pizza. It's like a big pie. And he got insulted.
Really thick, you mean?
Huh?
Really
it was really thick,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't want all this. Like, yes. I mean, but all the boys went. We enjoyed the pizza. It was cool. But yeah, I remember just always going back and forth with him about pizza and who had the best food, Brooklyn or Chicago. But I love Chicago. I love the energy there.
It's a great wrestling city.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Early on the house show loop, you worked a lot with Lance Cade, Trevor Murdoch. Any memories of those guys, those matches early on?
They definitely broke us in there. We had a lot of ups and downs with Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. Those were the reason why the first time we got fired.
Well, we'll get there.
Yeah, we get to that. That's also in the book. But I'm definitely thankful for them. You know, looking back in retrospect, they definitely toughened me up. You know, they were definitely hard on Shad and I, and they wanted us to not just be wrestlers but learn how to work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you guys for that. You know, looking back when I was younger, I'm like, man, why are they so hard on us? No, they wanted us to get it. They wanted us to get it, not just be wrestlers, not just to do moves, but actually to work.
To show what a thin tag team division it was at the time, other early opponents you had was the unique duo of Charlie Haas and Viscera.
Yeah. And then after that, it was like Charlie Haas, like you said before, thin. They put Shelton and Charlie back together.
Which was for the better.
Yeah.
But any memories of working with Big Viscera, and did you physically survive someone that wasn't the smoothest to work with in the ring, to be kind?
When we were on the live events, we worked Charlie Haas and Viscera a lot. And then I think we did a pay-per-view with them. And then I think after that, it was we didn't wrestle with Vis that much.
Well, you lucked out.
Yeah.
Did you like working with Vis?
Yeah, it was cool. I didn't really have any
no injuries.
Yeah, no injuries.
He didn't
nothing.
Break your face like he did the Undertaker.
Damn,
Well, that's probably for the best.
Yeah. I don't really. But other than that, I have great memories of Vis outside the ring, but inside the ring, nothing negative. Yeah.
Well, that's good because a lot of guys didn't wind up as good as you did.
Oh, damn! Sorry to hear that.
He was, especially when he got.
I remember the
younger
mask.
versions of us.
Yeah.
You remember when he got the big push when he won King of the Ring in '95.
Yeah, King Mabel.
There you go, from the guy that's got one of the top heel spots in the middle of the 1995. And by January, he was gone. He hurt so many of the top talents at the time. They didn't want to work with him.
I know Diesel. Did he hurt Diesel?
He hurt Diesel in the SummerSlam match.
Okay.
What was the phrase that Chief Jay Strongbow used? He said he thought some organ was going to come out of his ass or something like that. He landed on him so hard.
Oh my god!
Then he broke Undertaker's face. So he had he wasn't making friends at a
but they brought him back like 2 or 3 times.
They did, because you know what? For better or worse, he was a younger guy. He was enormous. He was someone that even if he wasn't very good, he looked like a monster, a superstar, someone that belonged in what our industry, quote unquote, should be, as opposed to.
Sound like you're describing me.
I think no.
No, without the injuring part. No. Like.
Well, I think we mentioned it. Either it was when we were jibber jabbering before we started to shoot her in the first episode. I think the phrase that Kevin Nash uses a lot is very accurate. Sometimes you put on a wrestling TV show and it looks like younger Abercrombie and Fitch models trying to have wrestling matches doing flips nowadays. Viscera wasn't a guy that was doing flips. Certainly didn't look like he was going to be modeling Abercrombie and Fitch jeans and underwear.
At all.
So I think that's why they kept giving him so many chances.
Okay.
Just my opinion. I thought when we used him on our events, I think the first time you would use him in one city, I think he was a unique attraction because you talk about how often does a guy that's 6'8", 6'9", 500 pounds come to town that you can see literally, in a smaller, intimate setting on an independent show and go up and meet him and get a picture and an autograph with him and whatnot. It's just, I think it becomes, once the novelty wears off, like Boogeyman. I think Boogeyman, the first time you bring him to a place, it's unbelievable. But
after the third or fourth time, it's kind of like,
you know what I mean? It's repetitive. But again, one man's opinion. But I'm glad you came out unscathed with those matches. Take us back to your pay-per-view debut, Cyber Sunday. A pay-per-view, I didn't particularly care for that format for a lot of reasons, but you wound up in a big tag team turmoil match. Let me check the notes. A Texas Tornado match.
Yeah.
Again, to show the depth in the division, you came away with a victory over the Highlanders.
Oh, the Highlanders, yes.
And Viscera and Charlie Haas in your pay-per-view debut. That has to stick out in your mind. Your first big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You were the kid in New York that used to order them with your friends and your mom. And now all of a sudden you are on the pay-per-view.
Yes. And it was a lot of fun. We put the match together. We went over. Crime Time was over. And like, again, another Cloud 9 moment. Everything was just going great. I don't remember too much before and after the show. I'm trying to see if anything else during Cyber Sunday. No, I don't remember anything else other than us going over and just being again on Cloud 9.
Other than you were on it and you went over on it.
Yeah.
You were undefeated on pay-per-view.
Yeah, we were undefeated.
So
yes.
there you go. After that, a month later on at that point, Raw and SmackDown, which I liked, they kind of flip-flop the months for the B pay-per-views.
Yeah.
To show how dangerous and serious our industry can be, they had that four-way tag team ladder match in Armageddon 2006 when Joey Mercury's face literally exploded.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
I mean, that was a scary, scary, scary deal to see a guy just walk to the back in the middle of a match like he was Bad News Brown at Survivor Series '88. But this was the real deal.
Yeah. I remember seeing him. What arena was that? I would think it was in DC. I remember seeing him. I would think it was like a day or 2 days later. I'm like, why is he like? He should be like resting up. He was back at the arena. I think they had him do a segment, and then they let him rest up. But yeah, his whole face was bandaged up. His eyes were swollen shut. I'm like, wow. It was definitely a gory moment.
And then to fire him in March, I thought was so cold.
How many months later was that?
3.
Wow.
So I don't know if he became hooked on something heavy where it became a necessity to remove him, but his face looked like a bomb went off on the poor thing. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, we had him, a unique personality, I guess, but as far as his in-ring ability,
he's a great worker.
What a great talent.
Yes.
For whatever, quirks he may have otherwise. But I mean, his body of professional wrestling when that bell rings, what a great talent. I thought that's John Morrison's best work. I love them together.
I love Eminem. I thought
they were great.
They look great. Eminem, you had Melina doing the entrance.
Yeah,
they had the whole look.
And nothing against Morrison as a single, but I just thought Eminem as a unit, when they were at their best, was top notch.
Yeah.
One man's opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They look great together.
And you guys never get to work them because they were on a different show.
Yeah,
right?
that would have been great. Crime Time, stealing their coats. I think we talked about stealing Melina. I think we had a lot of talks like we about there's a lot of tag teams that we wanted to work that we never got a chance to work. That would have been just such great chemistry. Yeah. I know Shane McMahon wanted to not Shane McMahon. Shane Helms wanted to work us because he had the superhero thing and we were doing the crime.
Rosie, yeah.
That
would have been interesting. Yeah, the crime fighters against the thieves of the locker room. Yeah, that would have been fun.
We never got a chance to work the Highlanders. Who else we wanted to work.
That was another embarrassment. I think that was right around the time you came back from the issue we'll speak about down the road. But the guy, I don't know, can't even think of his name, but one of them went to the TNA taping the weekend of WrestleMania. Yes. And what a classless thing for TNA to do, to put him on their TV show like that, embarrass him to the company, that brought him in for the weekend. And then after he gets fired, not even give him a job or something. That was classless and cold of TNA. They should be ashamed of themselves as human beings for doing that. It did absolutely nothing for their TV show to put it on. All it did was hurt that guy as a human being, whether it was, I think one of their names was Rory and the other one was...
Rory,
I can't even think of their names, but I just remember I thought that was cold and classless when they did it because you knew as soon as you saw that guy's face on that TV show, he was fucked.
Yeah.
But before we go wrap up another episode that really flew by, maybe to try and help out some of the younger aspiring wrestlers at home, even one in this room that is interested in heading out to Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Nice.
Maybe a reason to go.
To OVW?
Take the leap of faith.
Oh, definitely.
Go out with Uncle Al.
See, if you can, make sure you get in the ring with Rip Rogers. You know, he's the man who trained me and also taught me psychology of the business. And you definitely want to, before you want to do all those flips and all those cool moves you see, learn why, when, and where you're going to do them in your match. And you learn that with definitely with Rip Rogers. And Al Snow is great too. He'll teach you the business side of the business side of the wrestling business. And OVW, I could talk about it all day, but we don't got the time.
Well, Al will love the cheap. Right, we're running out of time now.
Uh-huh.
I will hopefully our friend over there is listening to it, but he has kind of his own issue, like with Mick Foley did with Mr. Socko.
What's
you know
that?
what I mean? Well, he can't get out of his pants though. It's kind of attached. It wasn't removed early on in life. You know what I mean?
All
So,
right.
Al Snetter could be a little bit of a problem with the Kentucky Athletic Commission. That remains to be seen, but. You know, Vicente Rey is a man that he keeps on plugging along, literally. All right, for my friend JTG, I'm Dan Marati. He's going to be back at least for one more episode with us, and then hopefully we're going to get him up to Beantown in the studio where he belongs. He's got a lot of people he needs to see in Boston, literally. And again, the great vibes from this show continue. If you're watching the premiere of the show, the chat box, share your thoughts with what's going on. Questions maybe we can ask down the road. The Super Chat is open for business if you want to tip the bartender for the great entertainment, or if you watch after the fact, leave some thoughts in the comment section below. And if you want a beard, his is looking better than mine, but hopefully by the next time you see me after I sample the goods, me, him, and Kofi, we're going to have a little competition on who's got the best moss on the face. I don't know if any of the females use it a little further south. That's a different story for a different time. But for JTG, I'm Dan Marati. We'll see you soon on Wrestling Insider Special Edition. Good night.
Sure.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Cape Cod Coliseum in South Yarmouth, Massachusetts, Thursday, July the 14th, 1983. In the opening contest, Frank Williams beat Samoan number 4, the Tonga Kid. S.D. Jones drew Don Kernodle. WWF Tag Team Champion Afa with the win over Tony Gurria. Tito Santana defeated Mr. Fuji. Sergeant Slaughter victorious over Chief J. Strongbow. WWF Intercontinental Champion Don Morocco battled Polish power Ivan Putski to a double disqualification. And in the main event, the Superfly Jimmy Snuka beat WWF Tag Team Champion Sika. If you are in South Yarmouth Live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times